I don't know if I have enough chairs in the whole building, but what a wonderful turnout for Joe Benoit. It is now just about noon, and the idea today is for a very informal gathering and sharing of memories of Joe. If you would like to do that, we're going to ask you to come forward and use the mic, because we are going to try to record it for the family to take home with them. So, very simple. We have till about 1 o'clock. So if you would like to share a memory, please come forward, or I'll bring the microphone back to you. Somebody must have a story about Joe.
I have a little story I'd like to tell about my mom.
There you go.
Kind of silly. Actually, I don't think I need the mic.
Yes, you do.
Okay. I know most of you in the building. Joe is my grandfather, my Papa Joe. I'm his oldest. And one of my favorite memories is I was at camp several years ago, and he got that awesome little percolator to make coffee on the stove at camp. And he's cooking, he's making the coffee, and he says, Heidi, you know, I'm going to make some coffee. He says, how do you take it? And I said, black. And he said, that's my girl, because I love black coffee. So that's just a little memory that I have of my Papa Joe. And I was telling my boyfriend recently that the past several years, every time I go to take a sip of black coffee, I'll often think of my Papa Joe, and most especially recently. And I was very blessed to have been able to share one last cup of coffee with him at camp a couple months ago. And that's, I'll never forget that. So I'm just amazed at all the people that have come out, people I've never met, people I haven't seen in years. We're all truly, truly blessed to have been able to share life with him. So thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah, she's very talkative.
Sure you don't want to change her first?
No. Just because it's real quick. I talked to Papa Joe quite a bit via Skype, and whenever he would just call, you always wanted to take it. And I don't normally take my laptop to work. I have an office, and a couple of you already know the story. I just happened to have it in the office, and just kept ringing. I was like, what the heck is that noise? Whose cell phone is that? It's so annoying. It's awful. And my laptop was on, and Papa Joe was trying to Skype in. And so, of course, I answered it. And it was only probably 2 weeks ago. So I talked to him, and I was like, how you feeling? And he's always just, good. This, always positive. And, amen, amen. After everything he was saying, it was always amen. And so he goes, all right, hon. He's like, well, you're a hard person to get a hold of. I was like, no, I'm not. Just Skype me whenever. He goes, well, I figured you had the baby, so that's why I called. And that was it. That was it, huh, Kenna? So this is Kenna. This is Papa Joe's great-great-granddaughter. And he just couldn't get enough of her. And he was just so happy. And I have a small video. It's probably only 6 seconds long of the first time that they met. And she just went to him and just started laughing. And she just grabbed his beard. And he just kind of lit right up. So that was it. So she keeps talking. Sorry, I feel like it's him coming through all the time. So
Perfect. Perfect.
Hello, those last two lovely ladies and the little small lady are my daughters and my granddaughter. I'm very blessed to have, as am the rest of my family. And I'm not going to talk nowhere near as eloquently as my brother Jesse, or Joel actually, but public speaking is one of the most terrifying events in the world, they say. And it's actually behind death, so they say. Irony placed there, but I just want to say something I shared with my mom after my dad passed, and he was such a special special person. And I just thanked her for marrying him and bringing him into our lives. And we were all blessed to have him in our lives. Thank you.
I'm going to try to get through this. Joe and I hunted a lot together, and he had a ritual. He'd shoot my hats. Joe, I got a new hat. And here it is. So it was a good time, good friend. So that's it.
That's a tough act to follow right there, Ralph. Well, I know most of you in the room here. You know, I just can't believe it's been 27 years, but I met Susan 27 years ago, maybe 28.
Well, actually.
It's close, within a month. But anyway, fortunately, Susan and I were married and became part of this family. And Joe and I had so many opportunities to trout fish. I was sharing with the boys, whether it was fishing or going off hiking or whatever we were doing, we shared a lot of great times together. And it's hard for people to visualize those little special moments. But today, with all the photographs that we have here and people sharing their stories, you know, we can go over it and say how special he was. But for me to be a part of this family, it's been wonderful. The camp, a place to go to. You never felt like you had to put on anything special. You just show up. That was it. The coffee was on. Friendship was there. Whether he was there or not, didn't matter. He may have been out back on his four-wheeler or down at the neighbors visiting. But it was always a place you could just feel welcome. A very simple abode, but really a place you could feel welcome. And I'm just thankful that everybody's here, and it's a testimony to life. And so, anyways, thank you.
Suddenly it gets silent. There's got to be a funny story or a fishing story or something. This tall lady right there, I didn't see.
Someday I'll grow up. Actually, it's going the other way, the other direction. Well, I'm Anne Marie Bernard Reed, and I'm a cousin of Joe's, and I don't have any fishing or hunting stories to tell you, but I can tell you that we were out of the area for quite some time. When we moved back, we were in Clifton Park, and Joe made regular trips to Albany or wherever, and he would always stop in. Sometimes we were there, sometimes we weren't, but it was always great to see him. He'd stop in and have a black coffee. And, you know, we'd just chat. We had a small Christmas tree farm, and he would come and he would take part in that. And then when we've just recently moved back, and I went to see him at his home, and at that time he was pretty ill, but always a positive attitude, positive spirit, and he was so proud of his grandchildren and great-grandchildren, one of who was there at the time. And then when he used to visit my mom, who had been sick for quite some time, and he was one of the kids who always popped in, and she really enjoyed speaking with him. So he was a friend, a relative to so many, and we appreciated his smile, his vigor. And I remember he was one of my wild cousins, and I just loved that. So I grew up with all girls, so it was nice to see a family of guys that you could kind of enjoy and, you know, participate and do things with. So thank you, and this is a great celebration of his life.
I guess we're not going to hear any of the wild cousin stories, are we?
This is my daughter, Leah, who was Papa Joe's spiritual granddaughter. And she has a song to sing. You ready?
When life leaves you high and dry, I'll be at your door tonight if you need help, if you need help. I'll shut down the city lights, I'll like sheet, I'll beg and bribe to make you well, to make you well. When enemies are at your door, I'll carry you away from war if you need help, if you need help. Your hope dangling my string, I'll share in your suffering to make you well, to make you well. Give me reasons to believe that you would do the same for me. And I would do it for you, for you. Baby, I'm not moving on, I'll love you long after you're gone. For you, for you. You will never sleep alone, I'll love you long after you're gone. And long after you're gone, gone, gone. When you fall like a statue, I'm gonna be there to catch you, put you on your feet, you on your feet. And if your well is empty, not a thing will prevent me. Tell me what you need, what do you need? I surrender honestly, you've always done the same for me. And I would do it for you, for you. Baby, I'm not moving on, I'll love you long after you're gone. For you, for you. You will never sleep alone, I'll love you long after you're gone. And long after you're gone, gone, gone. You're my backbone, you're my cornerstone. You're my crutch when my legs stop moving. You're my head sigh, you're my rugged heart. You're the pulse that I've always needed. Like a drum, baby, don't stop beating. Like a drum, baby, don't stop beating. Like a drum, baby, don't stop beating. Like a drum, my heart never stops beating. For you, for you. Baby, I'm not moving on, I'll love you long after you're gone. For you, for you. You will never sleep alone, I'll love you long after you're gone. For you, for you. Baby, I'm not moving on, I'll love you long after you're gone. For you, for you. You will never sleep alone, I'll love you long, long after you're gone. Like a drum, baby, don't stop beating. Like a drum, baby, don't stop beating. Like a drum, baby, don't stop beating. Like a drum, my heart never stops beating for you. And long after you're gone, gone, gone. I love you long after you're gone, gone, gone.
I think he would have been really proud of you and really proud of the person that you're going to be.
Now, that's a great song. I have a song from my dad. I'd like to hear it. But I have to get in my voicemail. Nothing poetic or beautiful, but...
Please enter your password.
What is that? My sister's birthday.
First saved message. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jesse. Happy birthday to you. Have a fun day. Talk to you later.
Listen.
Love you, bye.
That's my mom.
I'm away for the camp for the day. Go check things out. Pay the taxes. Later. Okay. Bye. Resave. Next message. Yes, good afternoon. This is Resave.
Golf
Next
tag.
message.
It's my golf swing.
Hi, Jesse. Sorry about calling so late. It's Mark. I just
my big brother.
Everything's good.
Wait for it.
Take care. It's fun to know you're an uncle again. See you later. Bye.
Resaved. Next message.
This is Dad.
Yeah, Jesse, Ashley, Holly had a baby girl. It's 7 pounds. I think it's 19 inches. I almost swear to it. Your mother called and told me to ask you to call you. But just letting you guys know. Enjoy the evening. Love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you.
The canoe, which symbolizes a lot of Joe's life, is back there, and it doesn't look new. So somebody in this room must have been out in that canoe with him at some point. Oh, yeah. We might want to hear those stories too. So we don't have Joe's handshake. We don't have Joe's hug anymore. But we do have Joe's memories. And those are the things that we'll need in the days to come, when it gets hard to walk, are the memories of Joe. So please share if you can. Yes, dear.
I just want to thank everybody who showed such an outpouring of love for Joe. I think he's up there and he's appreciating it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Anyone?
Now he shuts up.
Hey, buddy. What's she complaining about? She has a clean diaper, right? There you go, great.
So I'll stimulate this again. My dad did a lot of traveling, actually. He visited Munich, Germany, Paris, Montana, California, Minerva. A lot of those journeys, a lot of those people that have been here, Utah, feel free to speak up. I'm going to start passing this around to anyone that wants it.
Yes, I would like to say Joe is appreciated and is going to be missed by all of us. And almost every trip he made to Minerva, we were about the halfway point, and he'd managed to make it around dinner time. And, and we made sure he was taken care of so he could go on his way. He's going to be missed unreal.
The only memory I have really that I want to share about Uncle Joe is that he was the one I could always count on to change my broken windshields.
And if he was looking for parts, Hoddy always had his plaza shop out back from Hod's Plaza, and he would come and get his parts he needed. Now maybe I can get rid of some of that stuff.
My name's Doug, and I became friends with Barney and Susan a few years ago. And I had brief experiences with Joe, but I would see him periodically at different events. And every time he would come over to me, and we'd start into conversations. And we were both really trying to kind of feel each other out. Here's this guy who was becoming friends with these wonderful people, and he just wanted to see what metal I was made out of, and I kind of wanted to see the same thing. So we had some brief conversations, but really good conversations. Everything from how different game hunting was 150 years ago to what was in the newspaper yesterday. And we talked about events, about people, about life in general. And in everything that he said, the thing that really came across to me was he had a wonderful moral compass. He really understood people. He understood right from wrong, and that really came through. And I think of him as an honorable man, and I really appreciated that. It was an honor to know him.
Where do you start with Papa Joe? Was he frugal? No, he was cheap. I remember one day going there, and I think I just told Sully, he was braising tomato baskets back together. And I looked at him, I said, Papa Joe, what are you doing? He says, I'm putting them back together. I said, they cost $2 brand new. And he was like, well, I'm fixing them. I said, you have 50 cents in a brazen rod, $2 on oxygen and acetylene. You should just go buy a new one. He would never throw anything out. Anything. I don't know where to start. I just remember Old Green. I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember Old Green. He was so happy on that. Oh, it's got a PTO. It's got a winch. We can get ourselves out of the woods. We can go on forever and ever. And yeah, the ooga, ooga. We could go on forever, but we have a lot of memories. God bless Papa Joe.
Like so many other people, Papa Joe used to come and visit us at dinner time. And so that we were never happier than when we saw Papa Joe pulling in the driveway.
No leftovers.
But when we found out he was sick again, I called him up and I said, Joe, I want you to come to the house, because I felt like we had so little time left and I wanted to have a good memory of him being with us. And he said, well, the kids are up. And I said, well, I don't care. You can bring whoever you want. So we set a date, and a couple of days later he called and he said, well, remember when you said I could bring whoever I wanted? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, how many exactly does that mean? So I said, Joe, you can bring anybody you want. Just give me a number so I have enough food. So I think 8 people came that night. And it's one of the best memories I have. And I hope that everybody was there that night, enjoyed it just as much as we did.
Yeah, I got one more. I live next to Joe and Jesse and Joel and Susan. And every night, almost every night, when Joe would come home, he'd stop at my house first. Jesse and Joel would come over. We'd be just finishing dinner. And again, we had no leftovers. It was traditional. That and gin and tonics by the pool.
Oh, 1 second. Ralph's daughter, Nicole Donowski, wrote me a beautiful email, text. She said that your father was a good man just because simply it was the right thing to do. And I want to add one more story about the gin and tonics. Nicole always told me that my dad and her father said she was the best first-grade gin and tonic maker in the world.
Hi, I'm Debbie. I certainly know what this feels like. It's been 7 years for my man. But with that said, we raised our kids together, Jan and I cannot say enough. I am blown away by this. And I just speak for my daughter and my son who's in Virginia. I cannot say how proud, Jan. Your children, oh my goodness. I just love you. God bless.
I've been pondering what memory to talk about. When I was probably 3, 4 years old, my father started taking me into the woods fishing. We used to fish the streams all over, and I just remember walking through the woods and smelling the leaves and hearing the water and catching the little brookies, and he just would glow. And some days we wouldn't catch any fish, and he still would glow just because we had time together. I also remember, I was talking to, I think, Aunt Muriel earlier. We used to head to Headlock Pond in the evening, and we would fish after dark. We had our lights on the boat, but we would go fishing. And, of course, before that, the night before, we'd go out and get night crawlers. I would be crawling through our garden to get night crawlers because Dad wouldn't spend the 25 cents or whatever it was back then to get them. So, but I did crawl, and I loved it too. It was great. We'd be out there with a flashlight raining, and then we'd go off fishing. Sorry, whoever fly fishes here, we did use garden hackle. But it was just so special, just the simple pleasures in life. And he did take me hunting once, only once, because I just wanted to go hang out with Dad. I thought, wow, I think it was over in Argyle. And he said, come on with me, kiddo, you know. And so off we went in the red Chevy, if anybody remembers that. It was like a 67. So we went off Argyle area. I don't know. I was just running through the woods, and I got thinking, I love deer. I mean, they're really cute, and I will eat venison, but I don't want to witness that. And I'm probably, I don't know, maybe 9 at the time. And so I thought, there's no way he's going to shoot a deer in front of me. And so I'm like, Dad, what was that? Quiet! And I just made all kinds of noise, breaking the branches, and then finally he goes, I am never taking you hunting with me again. I said, that's okay, because I don't want to go hunting with you again. But there's so many wonderful memories. He was the best dad. He was so loving, and I'm just going to miss calling him up and talking to him, and just all the little stories. Just loves all of his kids, his grandchildren, his extended family, everybody. He loves all of you here, and he would be so proud to, I know he knows. He's so proud that you're all here and just thrilled. And thank you so much. I love you all. Anyone? Anybody have a great story?
Hi, I'm Joe's neighbor. My husband suffered a brain aneurysm and a stroke, and I didn't know how I was ever going to get through it. How do I stop this from making this noise? And he'd come over every day when I would come home from Sunnyview, and he'd give me a hug and he'd say, you can get through this. And I said, Joe, but I have so much to do around this house, and I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. And he said, I will help you. So one morning he comes in and he's got a chainsaw. I'm in my pajamas because I'm not an early person, but he is. And he said, okay, come on, get up off your, and let's get going. We're going to go chop some trees down. And I thought, chop trees down? I've never done this before. And he said, well, you're going to have to learn now. And I said, okay, I'll try. So I said, but I don't have any gloves. Don't I have to wear gloves to chop down all these trees? And he said, what do you mean you don't have any gloves? I said, I don't have any gloves. So he said, you go get ready. I'll be right back. And he went to the dollar store and bought me a pair of gloves. And I'll cherish him forever. I'm just going to miss him coming to my door. I don't know that. We have so much fun memories of him. He's just a great man. Here, Manny.
Karen and Tom have been just as great a neighbor to Dad as he was to them. We had shares last time. Dad and Mom were living in camp, and they experimented with bringing the cats up, and they decided against it. Tommy and Karen would walk over and they would feed the cats, and all our lives I've Mommy and Dad have been the same, and they've been awesome people and awesome neighbors.
Hi, I'm Manny. I'm Joe's brother-in-law. I've been in the family 37 years, and it seems strange to be here without seeing him. One of the stories that I'd share with you is probably one of the funniest ones that me and Joe have a memory about. In his younger days, he used to do a lot of drinking, like I still do, but we were up in Watertown. I don't know whether it was a New Year's party or what it was, but we had to make a beer run. Were you? I don't. But anyways, we went to the Great American up in State Street, which is up in Watertown. And if I look at food and if Joe looked at food, we used to fart a lot. So anyways, we're going in the store, and all the way through the store, he's farting. And I'm farting as well. So we get up to the checkout, and the girl's at the checkout, and we're checking out. And as he's standing there, he's farting. and the cashier was trying to keep a straight face. Pretty soon, she started cracking up. So we left the store farting all the way out. But that's my fondest memory of Joe.
Did anyone else have a story? We all have lots, but it's always fun standing in the middle of a room, isn't it? This is one of Jesse and I's oldest friends. Her name is Shannon Cronin. She has Shannon Cronin Popa, excuse me. She has a story about Dad.
Hi, I'm Shannon. There's so many memories. They started at 6 when Jesse and Joel and I were in kindergarten together, and I met Mr. Benoit then at 6 years old, and then we grew up, all the way K through 12 together, and there were a good number of days that Jesse and Joel were kind enough to host a gathering at their home, not necessarily with Mr. or Mrs. Benoit there, and there were a couple occasions where his parents came home, and Mr. Benoit was always just calm and just, okay, everybody got to go home, not a big deal. And I will say that, throughout high school, I did sample one of the gin and tonics made by Jesse, actually. And my mom found me the next day on the bathroom floor, and she said I got what I deserved. But it's funny how you start off and he's Mr. Benoit because, I'm 6 years old and I'm going up through junior high and high school, and then he became Papa Joe. And seeing him at Jessie and Ashley's wedding, and just really getting to hang out with him, not as, kid and Mr. Benoit, but, on that adult level, and he's Papa Joe. And he just, I've moved away, and every time I come back, he's part of coming home, and I'm going to miss him a lot.
Did I hear a hand up? Did I hear a hand up over here? You want to speak?
Manny, that's because that night you and Joe were just hogging the Chinese food like it was going out of style.
Anybody else want to share a fishing story? One guy's looking at me like don't walk over to him, don't walk over to me.
Well, this is not a fishing story. This is a story where he had to take me to the doctors. I was about 3 years old, and for whatever reason, Mom was working. Could you take her to the doctor, or to the doctor? She needs her shots or whatever. I don't know if I was sick. I can't remember, but anyway, the doctor gave me a shot of penicillin. And unfortunately, I was very allergic and went into convulsions and passed out, had a rash all over my body, and it freaked my father out. And he said, Jan, don't you ever ask me to take her to the doctors again. He thought he was losing me there on the table, but he was always there with me. Every time I was in the hospital, when I had my tonsils out, I'm throwing up, he's holding the basin, or he couldn't find the right thing. He grabbed whatever he could get, and just he was always there, putting the cloth on my head. He was wonderful in every way. And then there's many more stories, but who wanted to tell a fishing story? Anybody? Any story.
I'll start the fishing stories off. I always fished with my father, often when I could. And one time I was between some move. I think I was moving to Montana, and so must have been 2002 or 3. And he had lost his best friend Don Campbell in 2000, and so he didn't really have anybody to fish with anymore. So he'd go by himself. And I had moved home between D.C. and Montana, and I lived with him at camp for a month. We had a great time. We were fishing every day, you know, hanging out by the campfire, cooking, and all that. And I remember one day we went to Belfour Lake, which was this lake by our camp, and we had to carry the canoe back, or not the canoe, the rowboat. And I was exhausted, but he just wanted to keep going. And we had our dog with us, Glory, and we had a really nice time. We fished, and it was the first time I'd ever fished for bass, because, you know, I was kind of like trout. Somebody here knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, we carried the boat back, and we had to load it into the truck, and I was leaving in 2 days with Chris Crusoe. We were moving to Montana. And my father turned to me as we tied up the boat, and he says, you know, when you leave, I'm going to cry my eyes out. And that was one of the most amazing things that I'd ever heard. Because I thought I enjoyed his company, you know, and it was a pleasure to be in his company, and I was proud that he had enjoyed our month together. I think he enjoyed all of our time together. I certainly enjoyed his. I don't think he enjoyed the time that I tried to burn the neighbor's fence down, but he forgave me. But if you ever have a treat in life, and if you're not a fisherman, and if you're not an outdoorsman, start doing it. Because I think of what he did. The energy that he had in him came from the outside world. You know, take a walk, you know. Like, look at his grandson, he's taking a walk. He's like, I know what's going on. I'll feel good. But, you know, his company was just awesome to me. And I think a lot of that had to do with he was just such an outdoorsman. And I think everybody should enjoy the outdoors like Papa Joe did. Anybody else? Well, we're going to tell people 18 and
Oh, never mind. Forget it. Never mind.
I'll ask. I don't think he'll say it for me, though. Hey, Carter. What's Papa's favorite pond?
Carter, what's Papa's favorite pond in Minerva?
Hudson.
Yell it.
Hudson.
Yell it.
Hudson.
Yell it.
Hudson.
Carter, what's your full name?
Benoit. Joseph Benoit.
Let's do Papa Joe trivia. Anyone know his favorite color? Favorite color? Great, green. Where was Joe Benoit born? Hudson Falls, Carter.
Hudson Trash. Hudson Trash.
I'll do it later.
Thank you, Carter, for naming Papa's favorite pond. A few fishermen here are very upset.
Actually, he said his favorite pond was, I don't know how to pronounce it, Massawepie.
Never mind.
And his favorite pond is Hudson Falls.
Pollywog. I think it's called Pollywog.
Well, Uncle Lauren, where was he born, Hudson Falls? You know?
There was a maternity home on Elm Street.
There was a maternity home on Elm Street.
Yes, I was listening to our half-hour recording that we did about a month ago.
Yep.
And he said he was born in Glens Falls Hospital, but not. I don't think it's.
I think we were all born in Glens Falls Hospital.
Was it?
Yeah, but that's the same location as it is now. Was it a different location? Okay. That's what I heard. really know because he was kind of young. He said, Grandma was not.
Any Minerva stories? You know, my dad had an interesting life. He lived in a lot of different places, kind of Watertown area with his wife and his military career, Fort Dix. But also, I think when you consider Joe Benoit, you consider Hudson Falls, and you really must consider Minerva. So, you know, he bought that place. Some of the relatives here, Campbell's and the Winches, and he turned it into a place of great joy. And you know, there's the Hudson Falls Joe, and there's the Minerva Joe. And they're still the same guy with that community-oriented feel, but in Minerva, no one, you could just walk in a door and just walk in. It's weird, but that's the way he wanted to live, and he showed it to all of us. So. I don't know how he could have eaten at all these other people. He always came to our camp and ate.
You know, I look through these pictures over here, and I see one that Lee gave me a short time ago, and it's a picture of Dale Varney, his brother, Joe Volpe, Dad, Vern, and Don. And it was an emotional thing for my father to receive it. He'd called me in Los Angeles and told me, he said, you know, I'm the last one left. And I like to think that they're all somewhere right now fishing, you know, as I said in his obituary. And I think that the most important thing that about my father from these pictures that I see is just, you know, every picture, he just won't smile. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say? I want to thank you all for coming. We are touched from the bottom of our hearts. Somewhere my father is smiling down upon us and loving it. And we just couldn't thank you enough for sharing in the celebration of his life. And you all mean the world to us, just like you did Papa. Thank you very much.
My meetings with Joe would be when he would be coming in to pay respects to someone, and he actually was here a lot because Joe had so many friends. But you made a statement earlier that he drew from the Nate being outdoors, where I look at this today as he drew from a wonderful family and has so many friends. We've all clapped today for all the speakers, and we've heard some wonderful things. What a great tribute to Joe with that song.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
With that song. Wasn't that something? But there's a guy here today who deserves a standing ovation. And I say we give it to him. And that guy is Joe Benoit. You can be seated, folks. Based on scheduling to be at Saratoga National Cemetery, we now have a little time left, so if you'd like to stay and visit for a while, you're more than welcome to. At about 1 o'clock or 5 after 1 or so, we will be sending everyone out to their cars. That's those people that will be going to Saratoga National for the military honors. So on behalf of the Benoit family, thank half 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 of the Benoit family, thank half